Happy Halloween from Wilder Mountain. We're gonna be back to working on the RV in this video, but before we get started, we're gonna have our first freeze tonight, and I gotta get this thing winterized. It's still got water in it. I made our own little blowout valve. Years ago, we did a video on it, but I don't think I ever showed it getting used, so here's how that works. First, I gotta drain the freshwater tank. I like to spread a tarp out. It just comes out right behind like the rear axle. If I don't spread a tarp out, it digs a hole in the driveway. Oh, I don't think it'll actually guide the water off the hill, but it just keeps me from digging a hole in the driveway. It's a very sophisticated system, obviously. So we don't have a power hookup out here by the RV, and our inverter's not quite powerful enough to run my compressor here, so I'm gonna fire up the generator and use that for our power. It has been several months since we've run this generator, so I'll have to prime it first. 10 seconds. Heck yeah. So I just keep this in the toolbox that we store in the back, and it's just a couple of fittings that reduce down to quick release for air hose. That's it. Now before I hook this up, I'm gonna go set my regulator on my compressor over here to about 40 PSI. And that'll keep us from overpressuring the water system and blowing a line. And then I'm gonna open a faucet and then we'll let it rip, and the air will push all the water out of the lines and into the gray tank, and then we'll drain the gray tank afterward. Now I could pop open this door and drain our hot water tank, but it's a pain, and the cap that I have for that thing is kind of chewed up, and I don't feel like replacing it today. I'd like to put a hose with a quick release on it, but I don't have it, so I'm just gonna let it blow all the hot water out this way. So we'll start with the hot one. I think that's the hot side. 50's probably good. It'll lose some pressure when it starts going. And this is not a super well built little thing that I made. It leaks a ton of air. It's not airtight, but like, it gets the job done. And that's it. That's all you gotta do. And there we go. We just blow it until it's got nothing but air coming out. No, I'm inside. I will. I'll have to, yeah. Looks pretty good. Pretty much everything's blowing clean. Shower's good. What do we got over here? Hot, cold, cold's wide open. Our toilet. And now I just go shut down the compressor and disconnect it. And that's it. we're draining. We live in the woods, so we can kind of drain into woods like this without consequence. Follow your local regulations or whatever. Man, it really started pouring while I was doing that. Now, coming up in this video, when it's not so rainy and miserable, we're gonna be installing a backup camera on that thing. It actually came with us all the way to Yellowstone and back, and we just never could find enough good weather to get it done.
Hello from Wilder Mountain. We are getting a lot of stuff done over here, except for when we get interrupted by our current foster puppies. Take a look. Okay, I want to let them sleep because I'm actually trying to get some other things done. And they sleep for about 2 hours at a time. They take little naps, and they are sleeping through the night. I think I might have woken them up. Damn it. Okay, do we need to go outside? Okay, well, they're up. So here's the puppies. There's 2 of them. They're actually sisters. They're from a litter of 10 puppies. And they got split off in pairs of 2 to 5 different foster families a couple of days ago. And they're so tiny we can't make it down all of our steps, which is basically the cutest thing ever. We love doggies, and we have had a dog in the past, but not since we got the RV. And we just feel like the travel we do isn't really pet compatible. Oh, good potty outside, Ginger. Here, have a treat. You guys are well aware of all of that we do, but a lot of it involves national parks, and almost all of it involves parking in places where it wouldn't be kind to a dog to leave it in the vehicle. It would change the travel that we do for us to take care of a dog while we're doing it, and we're just not really willing to make that compromise. Ooh, there's some deer. Hi, the deer.
All right, it's been a couple weeks since we winterized. We did our trip out to Big Bend and back, and I'm gonna finally get in here and finish up this project. I hope you guys are excited about us doing some work in the RV. I know you're big fans of it, and we are too. Just coming in here, you know, we get into the swing of things when we're back at home base or we're traveling in the Jeep. Henry's in school, this thing's out here, and you know, we're coming and borrowing stuff from it that we need, French press, things like that. And then you know, you come out on a day like today and come in, open the windows up, and it's just got a vibe, man. It's got a vibe, and I just want to get in the driver's seat and drive. I just want to go. It's just, I don't know, it's a feeling. There's a smell. It's a good smell. It's all of, I can smell the cedar that we put in. I can like literally smell individual smells of different construction projects. Anyway, today we're going to be installing this HaloView BT-7 backup camera. We don't have a backup camera on this thing, and most of the time we use our GMRS radios or a FaceTime call. Paige goes and stands outside, and then we yell at each other on the phone. I can't see your hands. What does that mean? Do gestures. HaloView sent us this a really long time ago. They've been super patient with us. I actually brought this with us on our Yellowstone trip to Wyoming and Montana and all that stuff, and thought, well, we'll just install it while we're parked up for a day. And it just rained every single day, and I couldn't cut a hole in the RV. It's got a 7-inch screen in the front, and the camera goes in the back. Obviously, they both need power, but the signal transmission is wireless. Yeah, and I gotta come up with a clever way to wire it. I have an idea, though. First, let's hook it up and see it. Now, I've already been in here once. It came packaged more well than this. Here's the camera. It's got an antenna, positionable, and this is the bracket for the screen that's going to go up front for us. So it's pretty handy. Now the screen has power that you just plug into a cigarette lighter outlet. I have that up front, and it's got even a little power switch on it. That's handy because, you know, we're very battery conscious in the RV, so that's fine. We'll plug this in up front, push the button and go. And we still have to get power, despite the video being wireless. We don't have to pull a video cord. I still have to get power to this. And it actually comes with this pretty handy little adapter for just quick testing of this, where you can hook up both devices at the same time. Hook that up. I got a little flash over here. I've got some blue lights, so this is on. And our screen has booted, and it does appear that we have a camera signal. So I'm using 14 watts, 13 watts on the Blue Edge. That's with both the camera and the screen on. So if I turn the screen off, the power consumption goes down to 10, 9 watts. That is still a pretty considerable ambient drain. So it'd be one thing if I wired it up to ignition and that only came on when the RV was running, but that's just not how this thing is wired up. I mean, I'm sure I could pull a fuse and find an ignition fuse, but I have a different idea, which is that I need to mount this at the back of the RV at the top for a good view down. And we actually have marker lights across the top of the rig. I'm thinking I don't want this thing to constantly be on. I would be fine with a scenario where this comes on when I turn the lights on. So when I turn the headlights on, the marker lights come on, and I'm totally fine tapping into the power for one of those marker lights. So, you know, if I'm backing this rig up, I should probably turn all my marker lights on anyway. So this is my idea for how I can get power to this without pulling a new wire and not having to dig up an ignition fuse, and just have it like it only comes on when I turn the lights on. So that's how I'm gonna wire it up. So this thing seems really cool. It's got a lot of really interesting features. It's got multiple channels. If I wanted to have cameras on the sides, it's like turn signal lights, you can do that. And there's actually a 3-wire setup for wiring this, where you've got positive, negative, and then you've got, you know, essentially what is like a traveler, a signal wire. You could wire this up to a fuse for like your blinker. When your blinker turns on, when that relay comes on, the camera itself turns on. And when a new camera comes on, this will automatically switch to it. I don't remember exactly how it works. It's not something I'm going to use. We've got the, let's see, we've got a brightness control here. We've got a 4-up camera display here. So that's if we had all of our other channels wired up. I think we've got audio. It says it's muted right now. How do I fix that? Is this a touch screen? So now I've got audio. Yeah. Cool. You hear that? So I can hear whatever, you know, if Paige is still outside talking to me, or if I just want to hear traffic. And listen to the delay. It's only a few, maybe 100 milliseconds or something. That's cool. It says there's a light here. I don't know if it only comes on in low light mode. It does have lights. When you first plug this in, they flash for a second. So I'll have to figure out how to program that to work. I read the manual. So it doesn't just toggle it off and on when you turn it on. That's an automatic light mode. You actually have to get darkness. You see how it's lit up on my hand there? So it just has to detect that there's no light for a while. Yeah, all right, here we go.
Okay, back to what I was doing before puppies happened. I am doing some mending in my sewing room this morning because there's a bunch of things I want to wear that have ended up in my mending pile. And this is my new sewing machine that Casey got me for Christmas. He picked it out because it does all these really fun decorative stitches, and it even has the whole alphabet. So cool. We're really just using straight, boring, normal stitch, but it does some other really nice things. So it's my new go-to machine, and now I have 5 sewing machines. So yeah, I think it's safe to say this is my #1 super hobby. And you already know that if you've watched a lot of our vlogs, because you've seen me sew on trips or talk about sewing or finish up projects like I did on our last trip. So yeah, and a few of you are sewists as well, which is really fun. And some of you wish you knew how to sew, and you should just buy a sewing machine because it's not as hard as it looks, except when you have a big butt and you have to make adjustments. So here we go, let's get these fixed. I'm done. It's hard sometimes after they've been in the mending pile for a long time to like there's a hole, but do I care right now? No. Is the crotch sewn up? Yes. Okay, that's all. I can get dressed now and get all my puppy smelly clothes off. Thanks for coming along. You're really here because Casey's working on something. Project video. Backup camera? I must be the backup camera. That's been a long time coming. And man, what a game changer. That's gonna be one of those things that's like, well, how did we wait so long? Okay, maybe you're really here for puppies. I'll show you more puppies later.
Now, while prepping for this project, I went ahead and bought some new LED marker lights for the rig. I got enough to do the front and the back, the yellow ones and the red ones, as well as the side markers, because some of them are just burnt out and blown out, and it'd be nice to replace them all with LEDs. I don't know if I'm going to do that today or not. I'm going to pop this one off, because you just can't really tell how it all fits together until you get in here and see how these are wired and what the cavities look like. But first I'm going to pop this off. My hope is that there's some sort of cavity back here that I can wire these things together behind the light and then actually pull a cord through, but otherwise we might have to run the wire down the surface of the RV. That's no big deal, it'll be fine. Nothing beats a big ass screwdriver. Whew, filthy. All right, first things first. These lights are riveted on, so that's going to be a pain. The light is center mounted on this. That's good. That's exactly, when you get the wires for these, you can either get them offset to the side or center mounted. I got them center mounted, which is exactly what we need here. Alright, that was easier than drilling rivets. Next problem, totally unlabeled wires. Way to go, bros. I'm gonna cut these off with an oscillating tool. That's way easier than with it. I'm gonna cut off where there was already a junction since I'm making a new one. Bye-bye, old light. I got some new wire strippers for this project because I knew if I did all these lights, I'd be stripping a bunch. Check this out. Oh my God, that's amazing. Like, you just can't beat that. You can barely tell these are even on there, so crappy. Handy dandy voltmeter. Never owned a voltmeter, which is weird. I've always kind of done electrical stuff, but haven't had a voltmeter. Bought this when I did the solar. Come in so handy. -6 volts. What? Are you for real right now? -9. That's not good, y'all. +9. Is our battery that freaking dead? Or is there that much voltage drop? Alright. Positive, negative. Positive is labeled. Now we've either got a dead battery or some serious voltage drop coming all the way back here to the back of the RV. That's crazy. That should be like 14 volts. I just checked the battery at the terminals and I'm showing 12 volts, which is still very low for a battery that should be being trickle charged by our solar panels every day. So, yeah, we'll have to look into that. Might be time to replace that starter battery. We never have, so that's how long it's run for us, almost 4 years now. And we've made it do work. We have puppies right now. I don't know if you can see them, but the white one's pooping. We've been fostering dogs when we're home. Our lifestyle doesn't accommodate having a full-time permanent dog, but temporary dogs work great. So I'm gonna go ahead and wire up the new light here. And then the way that I'm gonna wire up the camera is using some of these T-splice adapters. So I'll finish the light first, and then once that's there, these T-splices let you put a new wire in and then clamp onto an existing wire somewhere in the middle of it, and it splices it all together, and so I'll be able to dovetail the power off. We have new neighbors and it sounds like they're jumping in their pond. I actually went to college with one of those guys, so if I'm gonna have neighbors close enough I can hear them, it's good I at least know them. All right. I need you to go turn the headlights on so I can verify that I wired this up right. Puppies are singing. Ugh. These wiretaps are a little harder to get on than I expected, but we got them. Pull the...
Do I need to put the key in?
No, driver's side on the left, there's a light thing, you just pull it out. And hopefully, we get a running light. Yeah, check that out. All right, leave it on for a sec. Sorry for the bad angle. Oh yeah, we've got lights. We did it, guys. This is freaking perfect. I love it. The screws that came with these lights are worthless because I'm screwing into aluminum, but got me some self-drilling metal ones in the garage. Water gets behind it and you do want it to get out. Squeeze some in. Tough squeeze, but hey, not my worst. Not the worst beat I've done. How do you go? What makes you tick? Just gonna really... Yeah. Look at that. Freaking factory. I'm just using regular construction screws for this part. I've used them all over this RV, no sense in stopping now. I use silicone on them when I'm using them outside, and they've got a nice wide thread on them, which is perfect for going into this fiberglass Luan sandwich. I want it to be wide enough to really bite onto a layer rather than chewing up the layers, so this is perfect.
We got some new stuff. We got some of these reusable pads that are like waterproof and non-slip for in here, so that'll catch pee. And this is even more fun. I got a couple of toys. So I got two different little puppy-sized Kong toys. They're so tiny. And these are really fun because they're like the fillable kind. We have some like dog peanut butter, and then we have these little like training treats and stuff like this. So I'm gonna stuff these with fun treats for them. And then when they wake up and it's playtime, we'll have kind of something new and fun to do, because we can go on hiking adventures sometimes, but other times I don't have the energy to make everything stimulating and exciting for puppies. We just need something simple like this, so.
Let's see if this thing even wants to crank as slow as the battery was. I've never had to use it, but there is a relay over here on the dash that I can push and start the engine off the house batteries. This guy. Ooh, that was a rough start. The roughest start I've ever experienced with this thing. All right, voltage reads good now. I'll let that run for a minute. Let the alternator do its business. We've got a couple options for the mount here. We've got sort of 3M sticky pad, bendable, contourable thing that the screen just clips into, and that would let us mount right here above the driver's compartment, right above the dashboard here. It's a little bit in my view, which I don't really want. I also have this wooden box. I don't think making that wooden box ever made it into the original build video. We lost a bunch of footage before our first trip. But there was a TV here, and I built this kind of wooden box to cover up this big hole where that was. It was just a big unfinished steel structure from the dashboard. And that's what I keep the iPad mounted to. So I've got wood, I can screw into that, and I do have this sort of mount that like screws down into it and then it swivels. I could also put something like this above my head where I could put it up kind of like a rear view camera. I would have to run power up there, but I don't know, I just have all these options. I don't know which I'm gonna do. So I've got my screen, plug it in here, power on. It's booting up. No signal, and that's because I don't have power going to the camera right now, but we pull the light switch over here. Did it work? Did it work? Hey! Check it out! It's a dang backup camera. Look at that! That's awesome. It doesn't tell me everything I need to know, but I can see where I'm lined up. Like, I don't think I would miss the Jeep if I backed straight up right now. But maybe I would. Dude, this is so cool. I'm mentally debating this setup right now. It's a lot of screens, there's a lot of stuff up here. But there is still room for the battery and the iPad, and I can still see my maps. It's not in the way. It's not out of the way either though. Because how often am I backing up? That's the thing, right? It's a lot going on in the cockpit. When I'm driving, I'm gonna spend less than 0.001% of my time backing up. And the rest of the time it's just gonna be there not turned on. So, but I think I like that better than it being center mounted. Right here, I'm gonna commit. I can always fill the holes if I don't like it. That's committed. That's it for the install. Totally works. We got to take it for a drive test. I'm not going to do that today, so we'll be back in a bit for that. Yeah, I'm going to clean up the rest of my mess. All in all, that wasn't a bad install, and depending on your setup, you know, it could be easier, it could be harder, but my idea of tapping into the marker light, running light back there actually worked out pretty well. And by the way, that one LED light looks so good. Am I looking forward to popping the rest of those off and, you know, cutting off the rivets? I think there's 14 of them or something crazy like that to replace. No, that is not a project I want to finish tonight, but I think I will do it because it does look really, really good. Drive test coming up.
Okay, puppies finally woke up from their nap and have their new treats. I'm keeping this contained because it's very peanut butter messy. Is that exciting? Is that your first time having peanut butter? Oh boy. I think that while they're occupied with that, I'm gonna sew them a couple of bandanas. I'm bringing them to an event on Saturday, and all of their litter mates are going to be there, and they all look like the white one. There's like a couple brown ones, and I swear there's like, I don't know, 8 white ones, and they all look exactly the same. And so I literally think I might mix up my puppy with someone else's foster puppy, which probably doesn't actually matter, but I don't know. I feel like I should keep up with who's who. So I'm making them a couple of little bandanas. I'm gonna embroider their names on them because I've got a new sewing machine that does embroidery, and yeah, why not? It's fun. I feel like I should say I'm not that kind of person who sews clothes for their dog, but I guess I literally am that kind of person. Were you just lonely? People are here. I'm here. You have to learn to get along without people around. Sometimes you're going to spend time alone. The puppies are asleep again. And I don't want to wake them up. But I made their bandanas. I embroidered their names on them. I didn't use any interfacing, so it got a little bunched, but we've got Ginger and Truffle. Is that how you spell truffle? Just as an extra so we can mix it up. I think those look cute together. So anyway, that's how I'm gonna keep up with whose puppies are whose. Yeah, let me know in the comments what other aspects of home life you would be interested in seeing. We have some tree work that we need to do soon. We're kind of getting lower on firewood. We need to cut some wood into trees into firewood. So that's always kind of fun. We could film that for you guys. What else is going on? You know, I mean, we're living our everyday lives. So I don't know if you want to see what we eat for dinner. We could show you that, although it's not exciting. Yeah, I do enjoy sharing my sewing endeavors.
All right, it's time to put this backup camera to the test. Its ultimate test, which is actually trying to back up here on Wilder Mountain. I do it all the time. Usually involves Paige standing outside with a GMRS radio or a walkie-talkie or something, and me going like, I can't see, where is it? Because we've got kind of a tight turn, We've got a low tree here that I've got to clear on one side. We've got stonework here, so if you hit this with a back tire, that's what happens to all of the masonry in between it. That's how I've cracked all the grout. And then we've got a wall right here, and there's a bunch of extension on the back of the RV that hangs over the back wheels. So when you're trying to get the wheels here, it's really easy to end up with your back end in there. And I'm gonna see how easy this is to do myself. Oh, by the way, as I come around, I've also got the van back here. This will help me, after I park it, kind of gauge where I'm at. Have you heard that we have a van? It's in progress right now. Get subscribed if you want to see us do another build. Like, I ordered a bunch of stuff today. Okay. Headlights on. We have a camera. I have it pointed kind of aggressively down. And that's because I want to see as close to the bumper as possible. I still can't even see the bike rack, but I think that gives me a good idea of where the butt is and isn't. So I might play with the angle a little bit too. Oh, I know you haven't moved in a minute. I can get that in there pretty freaking tight. Let's see how tight that is. I think that was really tight, and that's awesome. Oh, that's so perfect. Can you believe that? I just parked this RV with this on the back that tight up against another vehicle. That's amazing. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. A backup camera was on my list of things we just had to have when we bought the RV 3 and some change years ago. And, you know, we just got into the routine of it and kind of learned how to do it. And it's been annoying, and there have been times that Paige had to stand out in the rain, but we've made by without it. But I'm really excited that we have this now. That just makes life so much easier. And if you were towing a car, that's another really cool use case for this. You know, it's wireless, so you could actually put the camera on your towed vehicle and have a rear view camera all the way from the front, or obviously you could put it here and you could monitor your towed vehicle. The way I have it wired up, where it comes on when the lights are on, I don't even have to have it in reverse, right? I can just monitor full time, and I think that's a big use case for this, full-time monitoring of your tow vehicle. Anyway, thanks to HaloView for sending us the camera, and hope to get some miles out of it this year. Thanks for watching. Get subscribed. Van build coming up. Spot a frickin' van, guys.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.